So, why did we move to Abu Dhabi from the UK? Was it a lifestyle change, tax savings, or was it something else? So, hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I do these videos on the UAE move that we have recently done and children's stuff really. So I'm going to be sharing the reasons as to why we moved to the UAE from the UK, and it was a big move. It wasn't kind of like a light decision that we made. And when I mean big move, we moved to so many different places before we had actually come here. So it was something that I wanted to just explain on this channel because a lot of you have followed me for a long time. So we moved back in November 2021, and I wanted to go through the reasons why. So the tax savings, the changes in our lifestyle, the weather, which is excellent, the fantastic business opportunity that we had for my accounting practice. So yeah, let's dive right in. So the first one is tax savings. So one of the biggest factors that influenced our move was the significant tax saving that we were going to be making if we moved to Abu Dhabi. Now it is 0% personal income tax, which means that all the money that you get into your bank account, you pay no tax on it, no income tax and no PAYE. Now, before we left the UK, my husband got a really nice bonus that year. So we saw the payslip and we were kind of like, oh my goodness, what is going on? At that point, we kind of decided that we needed to look at different options and figure out what was going to work for us, because it just didn't feel right. We were, alhamdulillah, very comfortable, but it wasn't as if we had been, living a really luxurious lifestyle. We were paying over 60% in tax. And it wasn't as if, we were on a lot, but we weren't super comfortable. We weren't able to afford everything we wanted. It wasn't kind of one of those things where we had loads of savings on the side as well. We were just earning to live and put a little bit on the side. Like, alhamdulillah, we were okay, but it definitely didn't feel like we were living that luxury lifestyle. Our place in West London was, £800,000. And for this, we got a duplex apartment, double story, top of the range, like really, really nice. And it was 3 bedrooms. It wasn't kind of like a massive, massive place. But it was sold to us as a 3-bedroom double, but it was 2 bedrooms with maybe 1 single at most. Now, if you look at that, and if we put that money into the UAE properties, we would have got a lovely 4 or 5-bedroom property, villa, with a nice swimming pool, garden, that kind of thing. It was definitely, and it would also have security, so it was definitely a big difference. So in that sense, it was kind of like a no-brainer when it came to that kind of thing. The other reason, which was my main reason, was the UK corporation tax. Now that was increasing from 19% to 25%, and it just meant that I was going to have to pay more in taxes to run my practice in the UK, and I wasn't going to be able to put that money back into developing the practice. I was having to, pay some taxes to the UK government. I just thought, how would I ever reinvest that money into my business and make it grow? The majority of my profit would have gone to tax, and it would just have meant that I would need to find different ways to develop and work so much more harder. So coming to the UAE and into Dubai, it is super business friendly. There's loads of tax benefits for businesses, and it is a prime location to expand businesses and to reduce that tax liability that you do have to pay, and you do pay a lot of that in the UK. So again, this was a no-brainer in terms of tax and money, business money, as well as Zahid's sort of personal income. We then had to figure out whether or not it would be a good choice for the kids, and whether what benefits it had there for them, and what it brought to them in terms of individuals, and if it would help them in the future. So which brings me on to my next point, which is the schooling system. Now, I had this preconceived idea that out here in the UAE, so Dubai schooling, Abu Dhabi schooling was not going to be that great. I was kind of very skeptical about it. I wasn't sure on the level of education that it would provide, and I didn't know if the kids would thrive off of an environment like this. And I wanted to consider it for the long term, because of course, when we do want to move, we don't want to move for a year or 2. We want to move for a good 5 to 10 years, say. Now, the schooling environment in the UK has changed over the past couple of years, and it's something that we've really been considering because it's not in line with our values. While we do appreciate the quality of the education in the UK, as many of you guys do, we do know that there are lots of people that travel to the UK for education specifically. So that's one of the concerns that I had, was why am I moving my kids from the UK into a UAE school? But there was certain aspects of the curriculum that was now just going to be taught into UK schools that just didn't align well with me. In particular, the topics relating to kind of LGBTQ, whatever it is, and it just clashed with our personal beliefs and values. It was just something that it's fine, but it just doesn't sit right with us guys. They were already handing out books, and it wasn't necessary at that time. He was only 5 years old. Considering he went to a private school that we paid for, it shouldn't have been something that was taught to him essentially. So we thought, okay, let's move the kids to the UAE. It aligns better with our beliefs. The system provided an opportunity for the kids to develop and grow without them having to learn that kind of stuff at that age. So we came in September 2021 for a visit, and that's when we realized that the school system was very much the same as the UK. They follow the same curriculum, the kids at the school are British kids, and they don't actually teach LGBTQ, and that is because of it being a Muslim country, hence the reason why. Now, this is the one that I was most excited about, which was the lifestyle change. Moving to Abu Dhabi also gave us the opportunity to experience different kind of lifestyles and environments than being in the UK. Now, we lived in the UK since we were born. We felt like we were a part of this great thing that was happening, but it was kind of like a rat race where we basically worked for the government, and we were lucky if we had any kind of family time, maybe once a week. The UAE seems like it would just give us a little bit more time in terms of spending time with the children. Schools finish at 2:30. You've got enough time until 6:30 to be able to spend time with them, and that's be quality time as well. It's very rich in culture, history, it's got very warm hospitality, and it just gives us an opportunity to explore a different country. There are so many people here from different backgrounds. It is so comforting knowing that everybody has their children in these schools and they will grow up in a different environment, where there are a number of diverse communities and backgrounds, and it's quite nice knowing that they will all be kind of in the same journey of life together. And that brings me on to my fourth point, which is security. Now, that's one of the major factors that I had faced. Now, if you've lived in the UK, you kind of know what I'm talking about. Abu Dhabi is completely different. The UAE is recognized to be one of the safest areas to live in, and it definitely is. In the UK, I was 8 months pregnant and is living in London. I was walking down the street, whereas 5 minutes after that point, somebody who was 9 months pregnant, she had an acid attack on her. And it was purely because she was wearing a hijab. And I mean, that's just something that I don't want to be worried about when I'm walking down the street with my kids. Now, the UAE does maintain a safe and secure environment, mainly because they are quite strict with their rules and they don't kind of take any accidents. It just doesn't happen. So when you are making a decision to move to Abu Dhabi, you do need to adhere to local requirements and rules. And that is why a lot of people will either be sent away from here or blacklisted from the UAE because they haven't adhered to those rules. Weather is the most important one as well. So being in the UK, there is something called the SAD syndrome, where a lot of people in the UK, and you'll notice that in the colder months, a lot of people will have low self-esteem, they will have really low motivation and not much drive at all. Now, the sun boosts your mood, and this is because of the link between the sunlight and your serotonin levels, which is the hormone that makes you happy. So in Abu Dhabi, the weather is another exciting factor. In the UK, it's so unpredictable. The climate is kind of like up and down all the time. In the UAE, there's all round summer. So all year long, you will have a really good sunshine level. In the UAE, they do have very comfortable outside temperatures. So it allows you to kind of enjoy that time with the kids after school. If you want to go somewhere, you're able to enjoy that time with them. Say from 2:30 to 6:30, there's that nice amount, a couple of hours that you can actually do something with the kids. So it's nice to go out and play at the skate park, knowing that they're going to be safe because there's always security around. If you want to go to Yas Mall or to the water park or to Warner Brothers, there's always something to do. There are so many things in the UAE that helps us just play a little bit more with the kids, spend a bit more time with them. Even if they're going down to the park down the road, it's safe. And it's kind of comfortable for me to sit there, read a book while the kids are playing. Plus the indoor play out here, they're kind of like on steroids. It's just nothing like in the UK. They are so fun for the kids and they're on like 5-6 different floors. Now this was one for me. This point was about business opportunities. Now for me in the UAE, it was great. My accounting practice in the UK at that time was fairly new. It was picking up and it was one of those businesses that was just growing at that time, and it was building up a good amount of money, which meant that I would either pay loads of tax or I could develop somewhere else. So I knew at that point that I had to be a little bit more tax savvy and figure out what was going on. Because of the tax brackets changing this year, I really had to think about it, and I always knew that the UAE's business environment was great, and knowing that a lot of people have already set up out here, it was a no-brainer for me. So knowing how to actually set up here and do that side of the business was great for me because that's how I learned to set up my practice as well. So it was an ideal place for me to expand all my services. So now we do UAE accounting and bookkeeping services, as well as setting up companies and getting residency visas. and incorporations and things like that. So it's great, and if anybody is thinking about it, there's a link in my bio. So this really allowed me to tap into that market and benefit from the local business environment, and it's just such a favorable tax saving position. I cannot tell you. I will give some examples in my TikTok videos, but it's great. So overall, the UAE has been an incredible move for us, and it's been really beneficial in terms of lifestyle changes, and that's more spending time with the children, helping them and developing their growth and environment enrichment and things like that. And in terms of my business, it's been great. In terms of tax saving, it's been perfect. And in terms of overall mood, it's definitely made us a little bit more happier with the sunshine all year round. Our lifestyle has definitely increased as well. So we have a very comfortable lifestyle. We have a lot of help as well, and we're able to do things that we wouldn't be able to do in the UK. So that's one of the main reasons why we have actually moved and made this decision. So on my channel, you'll probably see a lot more UAE, Dubai content. And if there is something specific that you want to know, and do put that in the comments, and I will be happy to sort of get back to you on those as well. So yeah, I hope this video has helped and helped you understand a little bit about that. If you have any questions, let me know, and I look forward to seeing you in my next ones. Take care. Bye.